Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm, episode number 17. And we're going to get right to work on this mid-February game day. I did go ahead and work off camera through the rest of the second phase of January and also the first phase of February. And so here we are now in the second half of February. We are playing 2 game days per month here on Calmsden Farm as we blow straw into for the cows bedding. Now, I did change our straw blower. The you know I had wanted to use something that was a little bit smaller, just simply because of space and everything, and didn't want to have to necessarily tie up a sort of a dedicated trailer just for the specifics of blowing straw. But that thing kept dancing around, and then it was just a little bit awkward to get the straw bales in it. I really wanted something, I suppose, that I could go ahead and stack two or three straw bales in it. This will actually, you could put three in there. You put two in first and then one on top, and then that way it'll just give you a little bit more capacity and a little bit less moving back and forth around and about getting straw and what have you. So we're going to now feed the animals. I don't know if I don't think I've shown this mixing wagon on camera yet. I had this in FS in 17, I think, on Thornton Farm. This is the Keenan mixing wagon, and this is the more realistic version of that mixing wagon. Let me get backed up here too. We'll pick it up. Very very cool. Before I turn it on, let me just pull it out for you all out of the garage here as I try not to hit that pole. But a lot of really cool things about this mixing wagon. I'll just show you here right quick. If we go into the menu, we can open the cover or close the cover. That kind of helps in loading your straw and everything up. And the reason why we have that hay bale there is just because it's a little full, and that will mix in momentarily. And then we can unfold the mixing wagon, and we get some really cool. Let me just jump out of the tractor here. We get some really cool things to look at there. The animations. If we jump back into the tractor and turn this guy on, we can see all the workings there of the mixing wagon, and it's very cool. I really enjoy this mod. And the one thing I will say as I move the camera away from the tractor just so that you can hear me and I'm not shouting over that, is that it does take a little while to load. When you put say a hay bale or a silage bale on top, it will take a good, I'd say, a minute or two before the material fully drops into the mixing wagon as it's shredding the bell down and putting the content into the mixing wagon. And of course, in most cases, I think these the materials are put in loose form and not in straw form. But we have what we have to work with, and that's just what we have to do. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. I appreciate you, each and every one of you, for coming back for episodes here on Calmsden Farm, or really any farm that I happen to be playing here on Farm Sim 22 and producing and bringing to the channel here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. Now, in the previous episode, we sold some barley. We sprayed slurry on field number 9. Now, the barley we sold all of our barley that we had, and we do have some wheat. We probably could sell a full tipper trailer of wheat if we wanted to, and still have plenty of wheat to be able to handle for our chicken feed of our chickens. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stop. We're going to stop this, and we're going to stop the mixing wagon, and we're going to stop the tractor. And as you can see, it just takes a little while again, more realistic settings of how it is emptying the feed and everything in, and I will finish that up off camera. Don't try to do a whole lot of things that take up a whole lot of time. That there's not a lot to for you guys to be able to watch, and obviously feeding cows and everything. Once you watch that TMR come out of there for uh, 30 seconds or so, or even a minute, as we did there, then that's probably enough. You kind of know what I'm doing and how I'm doing that. Okay, so this field number 6, this was, let's see, I believe this was wheat, I believe, in the opening stages of our gameplay for the map when we first started playing this. Now, this cultivator is probably a bit large for this field number 6. Remember, field number 6 is a little bit smaller than the other field number 3, just across the way. But of course, it is even smaller than the field that we put slurry down on yesterday. And so, again, just kind of trying to get equipment that will kind of help me get the job done as quickly as possible, so that we can do other things on the farm as well as doing the things that we need to do. But obviously, I'm going to cultivate this oilseed radish into the soil. This is going to give us, let's see, I forget now. I don't think I put any natural fertilizer down on this field at all. So this is going to give us our 50% field bonus. If we come over here and look, we have nothing fertilized yet because we haven't cultivated this in. And then we come over here to the cultivated area and we see that we've got our 50% field bonus. Now it says it needs rolling. I don't see any purpose in rolling oilseed radish seeds into the soil. We will roll whatever we plant here on this particular field once we decide what that's going to be, and once we obviously get that particular job done, we will roll the seeds in for the maximum yield. But in any event, this is what we're doing. This is our task, our main task for today. Now, I wanted to bring up my notes here, my talking points for this particular episode as we just kind of move along and cultivate this field in. I most likely will come in behind this off camera and put some slurry down on this field since the field is so close to the cow barn, to the dairy. I would kind of be a fool almost to use natural fertilizer. Plus, we are trying to do as much as we possibly can with not using chemical fertilizers, using organic material as much as possible. So that's what we're going to try to do. And that's what we will do, because I do have enough liquid fertilizer to be able to accommodate this field. So I'll do that off camera. But obviously, in the news, in the farm sim news, if you will, Giant put out a blog post just a couple of days ago, which you all would probably have seen by now, talking about the updated patch 1.3 release. It is on deck. It is coming soon. We don't know when it's going to come. Giants has not provided an exact date, and I am following several Discord servers which have some Giants individuals and some people that are kind of in the know with what's going on at Giants, and all that they're more or less saying is soon. The update will be coming out soon, and of course, as I have mentioned a couple of times in recent videos, please remember to update your control bindings with your game save, or with your game itself. It's not in the game save folders, but it's in the main folder in your documents structure. Save those control bindings, because most likely 1.3 may reset things back to default, and that would be a bad thing if you spend a whole lot of time like me going in and setting up all these different buttons and control surfaces and such on your controllers to do different things. Then it's going to reset those, and you're going to have to do it all over again. And while that's not a extremely painful task, it is just something that is a bit annoying because you've spent so much time doing that. Anyway, I think a lot of good things are going to be coming out of the 1.3 patch, and of course, Giants published the fact sheets just a few weeks ago regarding the new sprayers, a couple of combines, if memory serves me correctly, a new tipper trailer that's got the Michelin Man logo on it, and a brand new sprayer. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly or not. And I'm going to set my cruise control here because my foot is getting tired, as I have said before. So we'll set that on about 7 miles per hour and just kind of enjoy ourselves, our company, as we move around here. And I talk about these things that I want to talk about here. This new company, this new brand, if you will, that's coming into FarmSim 22. I believe it's maybe pronounced Ploger. It's spelled Ploeger. It is a European brand, from what I can gather. And it looks like that this Ploger company is part of a larger company, a group called the Ploger Oxbow Group. And if you go out and look at their real world website, you will see that they have a lot of different equipment types that they manufacture different types of equipment to harvest different crop types that we don't have in the game, consisting of coffee, peas, berries, including blueberries, raspberries, and blackberry varieties, peppers, spinach, and other various items that fall into the bean category. And of course, they also manufacture equipment to harvest the two new crop types that we had come to FarmSim 22, that being grapes and olives. But I'm wondering, and just kind of sitting here thinking out loud, and of course, after looking at the fact sheet and kind of doing a bit of research into this company, into this Ploger company, I'm wondering if this new brand that we're getting into FarmSim 22 might pave the way for some additional crop types to come into the game. Some of those things that I've mentioned: spinach and coffee, peas, beans, other berry types of of crops that might come into the game that we might have the ability to have access to. And of course, that would probably come in through the Giants expansion pack that's going to be due out later this year, most likely in the fall, perhaps fall or early winter time frame of 2002. That was all part of that first year season pass. And of course, if you didn't buy the first year season pass, don't worry, you can still buy these DLCs as they come out. But it's just kind of making me wonder, and again, kind of think out loud, if you will, that would we maybe see these new crop types coming? Is this going to be potentially the brand that may pave the way that we would get some of these different things to do within Farming Simulator 22? And I'm certainly excited about the possibility. I don't see why there would be any reason, if Giants have, especially if they have the licensed brand, and if they have obviously they've got the creativity to create various equipment models. We've already seen that with what they have available now and what they've had available in many of the generations of the game. And so certainly, I don't see why they would not want to do that. And I guess bringing in these other crop types just kind of allows for more immersion and different things to do other than the same old thing, same old wheat, barley, canola, corn, soybean, etc. So that will be interesting to kind of follow and watch and see what happens. And of course, the first year season pass, there's 4 different items that's coming as part of that. Now, I did just for the record, if you will, I did purchase the season pass at the time that I purchased FarmSim 22, and so the first item was supposed to come out either in very late 21. It was kind of advertised as winter 21-22. So it's probably going to be a little closer to probably going to be a little closer to spring. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are speculating that it would come out on March, because Giants has already said it will be out in March. But a lot of people are speculating that the first thing will be out on March 22nd, because Giants has this infatuation with with the number 22, since this is Farming Simulator 22. So that just kind of is a tease, I suppose. And who knows? It could come out on March the 2nd, as far as I know. But we're just kind of thinking and speculating that it could be March 22nd that we would see that first released DLC as part of that's 1 year season pass. All right, wanted to give some shout outs next. Some folks have been active in the comments, leaving comments to the videos that I produce, and I really, really appreciate that. It sort of gives me something to talk about, with you guys responding to the things that I'm saying. It really makes it easy for me to come up with things to talk about for just a few minutes, because I will tell you, and I know that Fury Machine Gaming has talked about this in the past, that we can have all sorts of things in our head, thinking about what we want to say, what we all want to talk about in our videos, and then we go down to our gaming machines, we turn them on, we get everything ready to go, we fire up OBS, we put our headset on, and we get ready to play the game and record an episode, and then all of a sudden our mind goes blank. And that is, I can't tell you the number of times over the 6 years or so that I've been creating content for YouTube, that I've come downstairs, turned on my computer, put my headset on, fired up all the stuff that I need to be able to record an episode, get started, get my opening spiel done, which is kind of the easiest thing for me to do, because I pretty much say the same thing each episode, and then completely go blank, and then sit here kind of in frustration for a few minutes, click stop on OBS, go and delete the partial recording, and you guys never see that. It just kind of goes into the cutting floor, the virtual cutting floor here in my little virtual studio, and you guys never see that content, and it never comes to fruition, because I simply can't think of anything to say, and so I stop and I turn my machine off and I go back upstairs, and so it does happen. So I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate the conversation as I'm skipping stuff there, but I'll come back and fix that in just a moment. Ranger62 left a comment regarding the story that I told about my grandfather, and how it got him thinking about his grandfathers. And one of his grandfathers grew up in Wisconsin. Sorry about that, Wisconsin, on a farm before moving to Chicago to work for International Harvester. And then his other grandfather left Poland in the 20s and moved to Chicago and built pianos. Just thank you so much, Ranger, for sharing the stories about your grandfather, your grandfathers, and also I am very proud that my little story got you thinking about your grandfathers, because our grandfathers, depending on where we kind of fall within our age range, and of course, as I explained in the episode where I talked about my grandfather, I had one grandfather that fought in World War I, and the other fought in World War II. And of course, the generations that were of age to fight during World War II have kind of been nicknamed the greatest generation. And of course, that's not taking anything away from those who were of age to fight in, obviously, the Great War, the war that was supposed to end all wars, and unfortunately that did not happen. But obviously all great individuals, great people, and we should, if we have individuals who were of age in that time and we have memories of them, we certainly should remember them. Talk to your children, talk to your grandchildren about these fine people. Talk to your cousins, as I have done. because I don't have any children, obviously, but talk to people and share these stories, because once, and I said this before, once these people are gone, and once the people that know the stories behind these people are gone, then their legacies are gone as well. Unfortunately, time time will forget things if there aren't those of us that are willing to share the stories and share the greatness of these individuals. Because let's face it, the individuals who grew up in these time frames are some of the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The ordeals that they've went through, especially for those that lived in the UK and in Europe during both of the wars. Just extraordinary people living in very difficult, very difficult times. Chris also mentioned about how the story about my grandfather also reminded him of his, and how that they sounded so similar in their work ethics and such as that. And he made comment that basically, they did not shirk their responsibilities, their work and stuff. And Chris, that's absolutely right, because you know, our grandfathers lived in a time period where there was no government handouts. There was, if they didn't do the job, then it certainly didn't get done. And my grandfather on my dad's side, fought in World War One, but my grandfather and my grandmother were not married at that particular point in time. My grandfather on my mom's side of the family, who fought in World War Two, he and my grandmother got married before he left to go to Europe, and he spent most of his time in Italy during the war. But they had obviously got married before that. But that left my grandmother to do everything that needed to be done around the farm and everything. And at that particular point in time, they were living on a farm, and so she told me stories before she passed away about how she would go out and do various things, so that she and my uncle could eat and survive. And you know getting gathering the eggs from the chickens, and working the gardens, and things of that nature. And then taking up work that she could get in town. And it wasn't doing much for the war effort, the little town that she lived in, but obviously there was enough there that she could do, because there was so many of the men had went off to war. And there was a lot that she could do. Anyway, um, those were really the shout outs and the information that I had to share. And we are coming up on about 24 minutes of the video. About the only thing that we have left to really do is finish this field up, and then off camera, I think I will put slurry down, because obviously you have seen that already. Now, even with the UK weather geo, crop calendar geo that I have implemented with Calmsden Farm, we can't plant anything until the 1st of March. So I really think that the next time that we come back together again for a video here on Calmsden Farm, we will be in the first phase of March. We will obviously need to not run into trees, um, not run into trees twice. Well, I know how to fix that. We'll just give us a little fold here, fold those wings up, and then we'll unfold them. I think when we come back together for the next episode here on Calmsden Farm, which would be episode number 18, we will be in the first phase of March, and that will give us the ability to start doing some planting, start putting some seeds in the ground, because we are sort of managing both winter crop types that we have planted previous. We have planted winter wheat, and we also planted canola. And I put the canola in the ground before I found out about the crop geo. So we can plant canola in both time zones, or both time stages, if you will. We can plant it in the spring, and we can plant it in the winter. But we do have both of those already in the ground, and they've germinated, and they're in the process of coming up. Now we do need to obviously fertilize those I think a second time, and we will have to obviously use chemical fertilizer for that job, simply because that we can't put slurry on the crops since they're already growing and everything. So we will use chemical fertilizers for that spray, and that way we can get the maximum yield. And then we will just do our very best from that point forward to just always use our natural methods of oilseed radish for the first stage and slurry for the second stage, or mixing those two up. Be able to put down slurry first and then oilseed radish, and then that gives us our two stages of fertilization. Now, in the field that we put slurry down on the previous video, it is possible that we will be able to get oilseed radish on that field if we can get it done quick enough that we can get that done, because oilseed radish will grow and will basically give us the benefit that we need within, I believe, one game day. So if we can get that down, say, fairly early on the first game day of March, then certainly by the midpoint of March, or certainly by the first part of April, that oilseed radish would be able to be cultivated in, and that would give us our second level of fertilization. And it really just depends on, as far as the process that you choose on your farm. It really just depends on what level of effort you want to put into your farming. If you want to go fully organic, where you're not using any chemical fertilizers, then obviously you're going to have to put that work in and do it that way. If you want to sort of weigh the difference and say, well, I don't have enough cows, I'm really not interested in having enough cows to create the amount of slurry that would be needed to put down on a field of any size, then obviously you can mix the two methods and go with oilseed radish as your first level of fertilization, and then spray or put down granular fertilizer as your second level. Or maybe you're not interested in having the maximum level of fertilization bonus and benefit in doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that either. There's no right or real wrong way with doing things. It's just really what you want to put in, and the effort that you want to put in, and everything. Obviously, you're not going to get the max yield unless you do the extra work and spend the money for the diesel and spend the money for the time and everything. But the options are obviously all yours. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching. Very much appreciated you all tuning in every time a video drops. I hope that you got something out of this video. I hope some of the information that I provided in the top half of the video is interesting to you, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Would you be interested in some of these additional crop types, like coffee, like various types of beans, additional fruit type berry varieties like raspberries, blueberries, things of that nature. What else? Peppers, peas, coffee. I said coffee already. I'm a coffee nut. I need my coffee. I certainly would love to see some of these additional crop types. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thanks to all, and welcome to all of the new subscribers. Very much appreciative of having you here. Take very good care of yourself, and also check on all of those around you, and be good out there. And I will see you back here on Calmsden Farm for the next episode very soon. Bye for now.